Have you ever watched an ant carry something 10 times its body weight and wondered how such a tiny creature never gives up? Maybe you've seen an ant trail leading to food and noticed how perfectly organized they are, how focused, how relentless. You might think it's just instinct, just programming. But what if I told you that ants hold the secret to a skill that most humans have completely lost? What if understanding how an ant focuses could transform your entire life? This is the story of a man who was failing at everything until he learned to think like an ant. Stay with me until the end, because this lesson might be the most important thing you hear all year. In a busy city where everyone moved fast but accomplished little, there lived a colony of harvester ants beneath a small park. These weren't special ants. They were common, ordinary, doing what ants have done for millions of years. But if you watched closely, really closely, you'd see something extraordinary. Every single ant, from the moment it left the nest to the moment it returned, stayed locked on one mission: find food, carry food, bring food home. No detours, no distractions, no wandering off to explore interesting smells or follow other ants doing different jobs. Pure, unbreakable focus on the single task assigned. This wasn't luck. This wasn't simplicity. This was 140 million years of evolutionary perfection in action. One spring morning, just as the sun broke over the city skyline, a scout ant emerged from the colony entrance. Let's call her Scout because in the world of ants, every individual has a role, a purpose, a mission. Scout's job was simple but critical: search the territory within 50 meters of the colony entrance and find food sources. Not just any food, high-calorie, transportable food that would sustain the colony. She moved in systematic patterns, antennae sweeping left and right like radar dishes, chemical sensors processing thousands of data points per second. She wasn't wandering randomly like a lost tourist. She was executing a search algorithm more efficient than any GPS. Every square centimeter covered, every potential food source evaluated, every chemical signature analyzed. After 30 minutes of methodical searching, Scout detected something. A faint chemical signature carried on the morning breeze: sugar, carbohydrates, the colony's primary fuel. Her antennae locked onto the scent like a heat-seeking missile. She followed the molecular trail, navigating around pebbles 3 times her height over twigs that formed massive obstacles in her tiny world, past a discarded bottle cap that loomed like a metal dome. The scent grew stronger with each step. Left, right, forward, adjust, recalibrate, follow the gradient. There, near a park bench where humans sat and ate and dropped pieces of their excess. A dropped piece of granola bar, massive in ant terms, enough calories to feed dozens of nestmates for an entire day. But here's what separated Scout from a distracted human. She didn't stop to eat even though she was hungry. She didn't call other ants immediately even though she'd found treasure. She didn't celebrate or rest or get excited. First, she had a job to complete: verify the food source, assess if it was worth harvesting, memorize the exact route, ensure the path was safe and efficient. She touched the food with her antennae, her chemical sensors confirming composition, quality, accessibility. Yes, this was worth it. Only then did she turn and begin the journey back. And this is where the magic of ant focus truly revealed itself. Scout didn't retrace her wandering search path. That would waste time and energy. Instead, she walked a direct line home, the straightest possible route from food to nest. How? She had been creating a mental map the entire time she searched, tracking her position relative to the sun, to landmarks, to magnetic fields. Information most humans couldn't process if they tried. Along the way, she laid down a pheromone trail, a chemical breadcrumb path for other ants to follow. Every few steps, she paused for a fraction of a second, touched her abdomen to the ground, released a complex cocktail of marker chemicals, not random chemicals, specific pheromones that encoded information. This way, food source, worth following, high priority. Back at the nest entrance, Scout didn't rest even though she'd been walking for 45 minutes. She immediately communicated through touch and chemical signals with the forager ants waiting near the entrance. Large food source. This direction, this distance. Quality confirmed. Follow my trail. Within 90 seconds, not 5 minutes, not an hour, but 90 seconds, 12 worker ants emerged and began following Scout's pheromone highway toward the granola bar. These weren't Scouts. These were haulers, specialist ants whose entire existence was built for one thing: follow trails, reach food, carry back maximum load, return for more. No exploring, no deviating, no stopping to smell the flowers. Just pure execution. The first hauler reached the granola piece in under 3 minutes, following the pheromone trail like it was painted on the ground. She evaluated the food, selected a piece she could carry, bit off a chunk 3 times her own body size, and began the return journey. No hesitation, no second guessing her choice, no wondering if there might be better food elsewhere. She had her assignment, and she executed. On her way back to the nest, she did something critical. She reinforced the trail with her own pheromones, making it stronger, clearer, more obvious for the ants behind her. Each ant that successfully completed the journey added their chemical signature, creating a feedback loop of success. This is where the true genius of ant focus revealed itself. As more ants used the trail, it became a chemical superhighway, a pheromone interstate that told every ant exactly where to walk. No decisions required, no mental energy wasted on navigation. The trail was so clear, so strong, that ants could follow it in complete darkness, in rain, through obstacles, without ever losing their way. Focus was built into the system. But here's what most people don't see, what most humans completely miss when they watch ants work. As the harvester colony worked on that granola bar, other food sources appeared nearby. A dead beetle 2 meters away, rich in protein. Some breadcrumbs 5 meters in another direction, easy to carry. A piece of apple 7 meters the other way, sweet and accessible. Potential opportunities everywhere. Distractions that looked just as good, maybe even better. But the harvester ants ignored them completely, absolutely, without hesitation. Why? This is the lesson that could change your life. Because they were already committed to the granola bar. They had invested in that trail. They had built that highway. Switching targets midstream would waste the pheromone trail they'd already laid down, confuse the haulers who were already in transit, break the rhythm of the operation, and reduce overall efficiency. The ants understood something profound. Better to fully exploit one source, extract every molecule of value, complete the mission 100%, before moving to the next opportunity. This wasn't stubbornness, this was strategic focus. Over the next 6 hours, as the morning turned to afternoon, the colony removed every edible molecule of that granola bar. Over 200 individual trips, hundreds of ants participating, thousands of steps walked, not one ant distracted by the beetle nearby, not one wandering off to check the breadcrumbs, not one breaking formation to explore something more interesting. When the food was finally depleted, completely harvested, only then did Scout leave to search for the next source. The system reset. New mission, new focus, but the principle remained the same. One target, total commitment, complete extraction. Then move on. This cycle had repeated billions of times over millions of years, refined by evolution into the most efficient focus system on planet Earth. And it was happening right beneath the feet of a man who had completely forgotten how to do it. On the park bench directly above this ant operation sat Marcus, a 28-year-old man having the worst day of his professional life. Marcus was a content creator, desperately trying to build a YouTube channel about productivity and self-improvement. For 18 months, he had poured his time, energy, and hope into this dream. He'd posted 47 videos. He'd spent hundreds of hours filming, editing, researching, writing. His subscriber count was stuck at 312, most of them friends and family who subscribed out of pity. His average views per video were 43, and he knew at least 20 of those were him checking his own upload. He was failing, and the numbers didn't lie. But the worst part, the part that kept him awake at night, wasn't the low numbers. It was the chaos. It was the scattered energy. It was the complete inability to focus on one thing long enough to make it work. Marcus never finished anything properly. He'd start filming a video about morning routines, get halfway through the script, then suddenly get an idea for a video about focus techniques, then see a trending topic about artificial intelligence, then abandon everything to try a different editing style someone recommended. His hard drive was a graveyard of abandoned dreams. 14 video scripts started but never completed. 23 videos filmed but never edited to publishable quality. 9 thumbnail designs created but never used. 37 browser tabs open right now with article ideas he'd never read. He told himself he was being creative, exploring options, staying flexible, keeping his mind open to possibilities. But the truth was simpler, more painful, and harder to admit. He couldn't focus, not on one video, not on one topic, not on one strategy. He was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He was the opposite of an ant. That morning, Marcus had received an email from his younger brother, Daniel. Daniel was 2 years younger, less educated, with no formal training in content creation, but Daniel had started a focused YouTube channel about woodworking 6 months ago. Just woodworking. Nothing else. Every video teaching one specific technique, every thumbnail consistent, every upload on schedule. Daniel now had 15,000 subscribers and was making enough money to quit his day job. The email was kind, but devastating. Marcus, I've been watching your channel trying to support you. Honestly, I don't understand what it's about. One video is about meditation. Next is about business tips, then fitness, then book reviews. There's no consistency, no clear focus. Maybe you should pick one thing, just one thing, and actually commit to it. Because right now it feels like you're trying to be everything and ending up being nothing. Those words hit Marcus like a physical blow. His little brother, his less experienced, less educated little brother, had figured out the secret Marcus couldn't grasp. Focus, commitment, one path. Daniel had been walking a straight line to his goal while Marcus ran in circles. Marcus had closed his laptop, left his apartment, and walked to this park bench because he couldn't stand staring at his failure anymore. He sat there now, defeated, directionless, questioning everything. Should he quit? Should he start over? Should he get a regular job and abandon the dream? As these thoughts spiraled, he noticed movement at his feet. A line of ants, perfectly organized, marching in tight formation towards something under his bench. He watched them, not because he cared about ants, but because he needed something, anything, to distract him from the weight of his failure. The ants were carrying pieces of what looked like a granola bar someone had dropped. Back and forth. Same path, same direction. Over and over and over, Marcus watched one ant make the complete journey, from nest to food to nest again. 3 minutes of focused movement. That ant didn't stop to explore the interesting leaf 10 centimeters away. It didn't break formation to investigate the shiny bottle cap. It didn't pause to rest or reconsider its route. It had one job, and it executed that job with machine-like precision. Marcus pulled out his phone, not to check social media for once, but to record this. He zoomed in on the ants, watching them work. As he filmed, he started narrating quietly to himself. Look at this ant right here. It's carrying something twice its body weight. And it knows exactly where it's going. There's no hesitation, no second guessing. It's not stopping to wonder if there might be better food somewhere else. It just focuses. He followed one particular ant with his camera from the food source all the way back to the nest entrance. A journey of about 4 meters in human terms, but an epic expedition in ant scale. That ant walked for 3 minutes straight, without a single deviation from its path. 3 minutes of pure, unbreakable focus. Marcus felt something shift in his chest, a realization creeping in like dawn light. That tiny ant just did what I haven't done in 18 months. It focused on one thing from start to absolute finish. It didn't get distracted by the 100 other interesting things around it. It didn't switch tasks halfway through because something shinier appeared. It identified its goal and it executed until completion. Why can a creature with a brain smaller than a pinhead do what I can't? He sat back on the bench, still recording, and spoke into his camera with raw honesty. I've been trying to build a channel for 18 months. These ants have been building their colony for years, maybe decades, and they're succeeding, they're thriving, and I'm failing. Why? Because they know something I completely forgot. Focus isn't about doing everything. It's not about keeping your options open. It's not about being flexible or creative or exploring possibilities. Focus is about choosing one thing, one path, one mission, and walking that path until you reach the end. No detours, no distractions, no switching halfway through. Marcus watched the ant trail for another hour, genuinely fascinated now, seeing patterns he'd never noticed before. The way successful ants reinforced the pheromone trail, making the path stronger for others. The way they completely ignored other food sources once committed to their target. The way the colony accomplished massive tasks through sustained, focused effort by individuals who never broke formation. He noticed how efficient they were, how zero energy was wasted on indecision or exploration once the trail was established. The colony operated like a perfectly tuned machine, and the fuel for that machine was focus. He watched a single ant make 7 complete trips from nest to food and back. 7 times. Same path, same focus. Never once did that ant stop to wonder if there was a better way, a faster route, a more interesting food source. It had its mission, and it executed, period. When Marcus finally stopped recording, he had over an hour of ant footage. More footage than he'd ever shot of a single topic in his entire 18 months of content creation. And for the first time in months, he felt something other than anxiety and confusion. He felt clarity. Real clarity about what he needed to do. That evening, Marcus sat at his desk staring at his cluttered computer screen. 43 browser tabs open, 14 half-finished projects, a desktop covered in random files with no organization. He closed everything, all of it. Then he opened a blank document and wrote one sentence. For the next 90 days, I will create content about one thing only: ants and the lessons they teach about focus. Not productivity, not self-improvement, not trending topics or algorithm hacks or whatever was popular that week. Just ants. That was his granola bar. That was his food source. That was his pheromone trail. He would commit completely, extract every lesson, walk that path until it was finished. Then, and only then, would he consider what came next. The decision terrified him because it felt like closing doors. What if people didn't care about ants? What if this was the wrong choice? What if he wasted 90 days on something that didn't work? But then he remembered Scout, the ant who had found the granola bar. She didn't know for certain it was the best food in the entire territory. Maybe there was something better 60 meters away. But she committed to what she found. She built the trail, she trusted the process, and the entire colony benefited from her decision. Marcus decided to do the same. The next morning, Marcus woke up at 6 a.m., earlier than usual. He made coffee, opened his laptop, and began working on his first ant-focused video. The script came easily because he wasn't trying to be everything anymore. He was just telling the story of what he'd observed, how ants focus, why focus matters, what humans can learn. He filmed it in one take, no perfectionism, no overthinking, just execution. He edited it simply. He designed a thumbnail with an ant carrying food and the text, "Deep Focus Lessons." He uploaded it by noon, one video, completed start to finish. His first complete mission in months. Then he went back to the park and filmed more ants. different species this time. Carpenter ants building nest tunnels, pavement ants fighting over territory, fire ants swarming a food source. He narrated each observation, explaining the focus principles at play. Over the next week, Marcus created and published 5 videos, all about ants, all following the same format, all reinforcing the same theme. His analytics barely moved: 37 views, 52 views, 41 views. His subscriber count dropped by 3. People were confused by the sudden shift. Some left comments. "Why are you posting about bugs? I subscribed for productivity content." But Marcus didn't pivot. He didn't panic. He didn't abandon the trail. He remembered the ants ignoring the beetle nearby. Stay on the trail, reinforce the path, complete the mission. By week 3, something changed. One video caught attention. What ants teach us about finishing what you start. It got 300 views, then 800, then 2,000. The algorithm noticed. YouTube started recommending it. People who loved nature documentaries found it. People struggling with focus found it. The comments changed. "This is brilliant. I never thought about ants this way. Best productivity lesson I've ever heard." Marcus didn't celebrate. He just kept walking the trail. More ant videos, deeper observations, better storytelling. The pheromone highway was getting stronger. By day 45, Marcus had posted 18 videos, all about ants. His subscriber count hit 1,000, then 2,500, then 5,000. His brother Daniel called. "Marcus, what happened? Your channel is growing faster than mine now?" Marcus smiled. "I learned to think like an ant. Pick one path, walk it completely, ignore everything else." By day 60, something remarkable happened. A major nature channel reached out asking if they could feature his ant content. A school teacher wrote saying she was using his videos in her classroom. Comments poured in from people saying his videos helped them finish their own projects. By day 90, Marcus had 23,000 subscribers. His videos were getting 10,000 to 50,000 views each. Brands reached out for sponsorships. A literary agent asked if he wanted to write a book about focus lessons from ants. He was making more money than his old corporate job ever paid. But the real victory wasn't the numbers. It was the transformation. Marcus had proven to himself that he could commit, he could finish, he could walk one path without distraction. The ants had taught him something humans constantly forget. Success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing one thing so completely, so deeply, so focused, that you extract every molecule of value before moving on. One morning, Marcus returned to the park bench where it all started. The ant colony was still there, still working, still focused. He sat and watched them with deep gratitude. These tiny creatures with brains the size of a grain of sand had saved his career, maybe his life, by showing him what 140 million years of evolution had perfected. Deep focus isn't a technique. It's not a hack. It's a way of being. Choose your target. Build your trail. Walk it completely. Ignore the distractions. Reinforce what works. Extract everything. Then, and only then, move to the next mission. As Marcus sat there, a young woman approached the bench. She looked frustrated, staring at her phone, clearly overwhelmed. She sat down next to Marcus and sighed heavily. He glanced over and saw she had 20 tabs open on her phone browser. He smiled, recognizing himself from 90 days ago. Without saying anything, he pointed to the ants at their feet. Watch them for 5 minutes. Really watch. They might teach you something that'll change your life. She looked at him like he was crazy. But curiosity won. She put her phone down and watched. Marcus stayed silent, letting the ants teach their lesson like they'd taught him. After a few minutes, he saw her expression change. Understanding dawning. He stood up to leave, but before walking away, he said one more thing. Pick one thing, just one. Walk that path for 90 days. Don't look left or right, just walk. The ants have been doing it for millions of years. It works. My friend, you've just heard Marcus's story, but really, you've heard the ants' story. Because they were the real teachers. They've been teaching this lesson for millions of years. Humans just forgot to listen. Here's what you need to understand. The world will tell you to keep your options open, stay flexible, try everything, explore all possibilities. But the ants know better. The winners in life, in business, in any field, are the ones who pick one trail and walk it until it's finished. Not half-heartedly, not while glancing at other trails. Completely, totally, with full commitment. So here's your challenge, right now, today. Identify your granola bar. What's the one goal, the one project, the one skill that if you focused on it completely for 90 days would transform your life? Not 5 things, one thing. Write it down. Then for the next 90 days, be like the ant. Wake up, walk your trail, ignore distractions, reinforce what works, complete the mission. Don't check if there's better food elsewhere. Don't wonder if you chose wrong. Just walk the trail. When people ask why you're so focused on one thing, tell them you're thinking like an ant. And when those 90 days are done, look back at what you've built. I promise you'll be amazed. If you're ready to commit to your trail, drop a comment right now telling me what your one focus will be for the next 90 days. Let's hold each other accountable. Share this video with someone who's scattered, distracted, trying to do everything. Maybe this is the lesson that saves them. And subscribe, because every week I'm bringing you more lessons from the smallest but wisest teachers on earth, ants. Remember Scout, the ant who found the granola bar. She didn't find the biggest food source in the world. She found one good source and committed completely. That's all you need to do. Find your one thing. Commit completely. Walk your trail. The ants have been winning for 140 million years using this exact strategy. Maybe it's time we learn from them. Your trail is waiting. Will you walk it?
Listen, the one thing you must remember is this: keep it simple.